Hey everyone, welcome to our very first Instagram live. It's a very special one because it's about European elections. We're in the middle of election season here, and this is part of our Vote Home campaign that we've been running for many weeks now. As you know, Denmark is going to vote on Sunday for the European Parliament. And along with Denmark, 450 million voters will decide who goes to the European Parliament and represent them, represent the issues that voters stand for, and make their voice heard. Today, I'm going to be joined by a very special guest, Julius Schubring, from the Alternative, pardon my Danish. He's from the Green Party and he's the only international candidate contesting from Denmark. I'll also be joined by Narcis Matakie. He's the founding editor of Last Week in Denmark. He's a political commentator and a former politician himself. So this is your chance to ask anything about the elections on Sunday. And if you have any questions for Julius, feel free to just type them out and we'll try to take it through the conversation. As for myself, I am Meghna. I'm the Instagram lead for Last Week in Denmark and a former journalist myself. Although I'm not voting on Sunday because I'm not from the EU, but I will be asking questions on behalf of the internationals here. So do type in your questions and I'm going to try and get our guests to join us now. Okay. Hey, Julius.
Hi, Meghna. Hi, everybody.
Hey,
Hello.
Nachin. We could see your legs for a second.
I didn't know how this Instagram thing works, to be honest. I've never been on Instagram Live before.
Yeah, me too. So
there's always a first time, and we are a very kind community, so mistakes are allowed. It's absolutely fine. But thank you, Julius. I'm sure you have really busy campaign days going on, meeting people, meeting voters, and thank you, Narcis, for adding that commentary for us. But before we get on to some of the serious political questions, Julius, as an international, I'm curious. You're originally from Germany and you moved to Denmark, but what made you join politics here and what made you join the Green Party?
I think I always wanted to be part of a political party in the last years, but then I moved to Denmark, so then I had to learn Danish and the whole thing to be able to discuss quite a lot of stuff. And then it was there are so many parties in Denmark, so it was hard to find the right one. But in the end, I decided due to the green politics, the social politics, but also economic politics, I decided me for Alternative.
To be honest, Julius, I find what you have done really brave, because there aren't many internationals. People who don't have Danish citizenship who decide to go into Danish politics. That has been a rarity for many years. I remember when I was running for local elections here in Aalborg, I couldn't find another candidate like me. My situation in 2017 around the country. So that's very interesting to see that someone actually went for the European Parliament elections. So congratulations from my side. I find just the fact that you run for these elections is quite of a symbol.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I didn't think too much about it when I started. So if it's a good or a bad idea, but it's super cool and it's so interesting topics on the European basis. So yeah.
And
well, to be honest,
because you're an international. Yeah, Nachis, please go ahead.
No, it's just I'm not sure. Are we like in the same time live? Like, can we?
There might be a lag. I mean, technology and Wi-Fi don't like to cooperate.
Okay, then I'll let you take over, and I'll come in later a bit.
Yeah. All right. Julius, I wanted to ask, because you're an international yourself, how do you think your party will look after the interests of internationals? And I don't know if you've had these conversations with EU voters in Denmark. What are the issues they face, and where is it that you and your party stand on those issues?
Yeah, I think it's a big issue within Alternative because we all love this bunch of international people in Europe. It's really a melting pot of cultures in Europe, especially when you're in Brussels. You can really feel it. It's really great. You feel this energy and how special it is. So I think this makes can be also quite a big factor for robustness, political and like structural robustness, when you have all these different people who can support each other. Yeah. So I think, and that's super important in Alternative, also to recognize and accept some difficult perhaps opinions on the way, but be able to discuss them and find common ground.
Yeah, and because it's so, when you meet in Brussels, everyone is speaking in English. It's very international because Europe doesn't have one language. I wanted to ask, is it time that Danish political parties have debates in English with international voters, have their websites in English to cater to, the EU community that's voting in Denmark for Danish parties?
Probably not too much. Most of the stuff is in Danish, so I think I couldn't be part of a Danish party without speaking a bit of Danish. That's quite hard. There are some international events, like also with international associations. Then it's Danish because then it's English. So because Danes also love English, speaking English actually. Yeah. And but like the day on the daily basis, I think it's all Danish. Yeah.
I think just from my experience was that it's, if you want to be joining Danish politics, you don't necessarily need to speak Danish. If you speak English and you're brave enough to go and attend all the things, you'll find a way to be part of it. I remember when I joined the Social Democrats back in 2011, I couldn't speak any Danish whatsoever. And I couldn't speak for years Danish while I was member in the leadership of the party. So it's not just because you don't speak Danish, it shouldn't be seen as a way of stopping yourself. If you wish to really be of Danish politics, that's all.
Of course, but I think it takes a lot more time to come into also the groups and a bit higher up. So, but so Danish people are quite open, especially when they to internationals in general. So. But you have to be a bit brave, perhaps. Yeah, that's true.
Of course. But I was wondering from my side, during this campaign, have you tried talking to the international community? Have you tried making a campaign towards the internationals, trying to get them to choose to vote here in Denmark?
No, not too much, because I was focusing quite on Aalborg, and I had, like, due to some private issues, step a bit down with the campaign. But but of course, now it's Aalborg in Northern Jutland is not like the EU crazy city, but I think that will be a task for the next elections, and to build up on this, because it's also my first election, and I started in politics last year, so it was quite a steep learning curve.
I'm curious, are you planning to maybe run for elections for the local in next year?
I'm thinking about it. I don't know yet, depending on how the structure is here and how many people could support, because it's not so easy if you're alone. But I'm thinking about the regional elections, because it's kind of a lot of infrastructural questions, but I don't know it. Yeah, but I'm thinking about it.
That'll be interesting, because this time we didn't have any internationals running for elections for local in Aalborg, for example. So we had no European, no non-Danish citizens who had the right to stand for elections was there present. So hopefully you'll do that step. Maybe you'll encourage others around you. By the way, did you try to mobilize other people to join you?
I tried, but it's really not easy. But yeah, now I know what is missing and what I perhaps have to do next time, or like building up a better infrastructure, political infrastructure. So yeah.
Okay. Have you tried to see if, because the German minority, I would say, in Denmark is quite significant, is in top five, right? Have you tried reaching out to your own community?
No, because it's like we tried to focus on Northern Jutland because there were so many other candidates, and yeah, it just didn't. I just didn't get to that, but
Okay. But in general, is the German community having some sort of communication tools, or can
no.
you reach out to them somehow?
Actually I don't know because I was like I never focused a lot on like only German people like in Denmark. Probably more to either Danes or like internationals in general. So.
Okay. No, it's interesting for me to see how you approach this
But
from
I'm super
something new.
like open for a catch up on such things. So I think it's yeah.
Well, to be honest, there is a lot of space right now on the international voters for next year, because you probably have seen that the larger parties have kind of alienated the internationals. So there's a lot of space for new parties to come in and try
Yeah.
to get some of that share. You can say, because I mean, only in Aalborg, right? There is like 20,000 internationals, and you need what, 500 to get elected in a city council.
Yeah, of course, it's a huge potential, and that's why yeah, we really want to step up also on this and to use this already with the university in Aalborg. Yeah, actually, yeah, it's huge. So yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
see the end of this campaign, and also to see your next campaign, how it's going to look like.
Yeah, me as well. Thank you.
Julius, I think let's talk a little bit about the election agenda and the manifesto. I was actually checking some Google Trend results for Denmark. What is it that Denmark is searching for? And apart from, Jan, your lead candidate, some of the related topics that were being searched was cannabis, till cannabis, and so there's a lot of focus on your, wanting to legalize cannabis sort of promise. Do you think it's sort of overshadowing from some of the other more serious election agendas that you have on the plate? And
No, I don't think so. It's probably it's a huge campaign also for gaining visibility because Alternative is quite a small party, and all the other parties have way more like money budget for the campaign. So that's one part, and then it's the topics really we talk about also in debates and talk with people. And that's all the other topics. Of course, perhaps also decriminalization of cannabis, but probably more with most of the people, probably more the green transition, safe security, EU in the world, and digital stuff as well.
yeah. But do you think it's the cannabis promise that's going to get you the young voters that may finally get the Green Party your first mandate in the European Parliament?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of everything because you need to have the serious content and also the visibility to primarily young people without much money. So that's probably the mixture we need, and I think we got it quite good, quite well.
Yeah. You also mentioned some of the climate initiatives, and I want to take one question from our follower. This is from Stefania, and her question is that what is your plan for controlling corporations that harm and accelerate the climate crisis? Even if everyone on this planet, is recycling and being responsible, the planet will still burn as corporations produce most of the emissions. So what is the Green Party's plan for that?
So I think one like the most of important step is extending the whole emissions trading system in the EU to more sectors and also decreasing the amount of CO2 allowance you can buy. That like it's in the end it's for especially for companies it's all about price, right? So that's a quite important measure, but that's only for the industrial sector probably, where it's most important, so that they have a motivation to get greener and to have less emissions. But there's also like agriculture, for example, where you need both. You need these CO2 certificates where they have to buy, but also you need to support them, like with subsidies, because it's a heavily subsidized sector, and they need it to survive. But you need to change the subsidies to so that they only get money if they change something, if they're getting greener, for example. I think, but also you could. That's one of my own most important topics. I think you need a bottom down and top down approach. So EU is classical top down, right? To the member states and down, but you can easily like you have to involve all the citizens of Europe much more, and especially in the green transition. And there, of course, for example, EU has an instrument. It's called EU energy communities, for example, which you could also spread to other parts like agriculture, for example. And there you get the possibility to produce and to share and to talk about energy, and perhaps be a part of an energy project in your house, in the whole community, in your whole region, for district heating or what it is. And it's because it's also a lot about acceptance, right? So it's not only the companies, the industrial companies, who are polluting quite with a lot of emissions. It's also a lot of housing, for example, which produce a lot of emissions. So yeah, you need this mixture, but in the end, it's all about money. So that's why these certificates are so important.
Right. Yeah.
Julius, can I intervene?
Of course.
Yeah.
I just want to know about. I'm curious because a lot of people were asking me the other day, where are you going to be on? What we going to be in the 9th of June in the evening? Is there like a election party on that your party is organizing?
No, I will take to Copenhagen to our election party, but it's nothing in Aalborg.
But that's fine. I mean, most of the people who are watching are in Copenhagen anyway. So is there like a big event some happening somewhere in the evening?
Yeah, it's from Alternative. We have a party, election party.
Okay, because I saw the moderates were inviting everyone. They're saying anyone who wants to join, come to our event in. I'm not sure where it is, but if you guys can check Valkfest Copenhagen 2024, you're probably gonna find something about the event. Is the Alternative open also, the event for others or not?
No, I haven't checked. I just got the information, and then I booked a ticket, and I had no time to check to follow up on this. So I'll see on Sunday morning after my vote, after I voted. So.
Well, at least Meghna, you're the media, right? So they cannot say no to you at the entrance.
Yeah, maybe I can party with the Green Party. Yeah, so since we're on the topic of energy, there was another question on what's the Green Party stand on nuclear energy?
So I think nuclear power is a part of the European energy mix. So that's state of now. For example, France has a lot of nuclear energy, and I think we should definitely support also research in this, because there's some also these Generation 4 reactors who can use also nuclear waste, for example. But the problem is that in Denmark it's way too expensive. Like wind power and solar power are way cheaper, and it won't be economical. So that's why we think that in Denmark and many other countries, where there's potential for wind and solar and perhaps a bit water power, then it doesn't make sense, because it's it's 3 times more expensive than renewable energies.
But at the
it's part of the mix in Europe.
At the same time, you have to recognize that we in Denmark we thrive on innovation, right? And then that's what we gain from by coming up with new ideas. And from what I know, we have in Copenhagen at least two, let's say, research projects or
Yeah.
innovation project startups who are developing like nuclear energy that's a lot cheaper through a new method, right? So I think we shouldn't say that maybe it's not for Denmark. We should just be open-minded to, well, whatever we develop here in Denmark that is good for us as a society, we should accept it. We shouldn't be like, well, just because it's nuclear energy, we don't touch that, right? Because it has been for so many decades in Denmark. It was like, oh God, it's nuclear. We do not touch this,
Yeah,
right?
but that's
So the
that's why I
movement.
said we have to support also the research on this because you have also to recognize that there are many sites in the world where you can't build, for example, wind power or solar power due to storms or a lot of like just conditions where perhaps can reach like mountains within you can't have a service there for wind power turbines. So perhaps there you need and that's also one business case for Seaborg in Copenhagen, for example. So you need the mixture, but I think it's not good to promote it, for example, for Denmark, if it's also with the new reactors, if it's much more expensive. But I think that wouldn't be serious politics.
I mean, it's not about promoting it. It's just about making sure that if I'm a researcher and I want to develop further these new techniques of nuclear energy, I have access to the right funding. I shouldn't be barred from certain funding just because I researched nuclear energy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, we did have more energy related questions, but I want to maybe change track a little bit. There was another question on should there be more strict EU laws and regulations about online content, or at least more education programs about fake news, propaganda, and misleading information?
Yeah, of course. I think it's highly necessary. But the good thing is that EU already started with this. So we have three big law packages in the EU. So the newest AI Act to regulate AI, like a first in the world, and then these two for the Digital Markets Act and Digital Services Act, which try to first to regulate like the big players in the world, and then also to support efforts for private security in the digital world, and then also against fake news and manipulation of algorithms. So that's a basis, but it's only a start, right? And you need to find a way also to control it and to be able to empower these laws. But it's a first step, and I think EU is also a huge market, where many companies want to also to be able to do business, also in the digital. But we also need to ensure that I like where the idea of a market and a digital market within the EU, where also companies can thrive with their technologies, because in research, like Europe is already the most advanced continent in the world, where most of the technology are developed, but we need to do a lot more to also get more businesses and companies who are successful. So we need this mixture of regulation and supporting smaller companies to grow.
But talking about what's the top of mind now in Denmark, right? TikTok and Temu. Do you agree that we should ban such platforms from the Danish market?
No, I don't think so, because then otherwise you also should have would have to ban Facebook and Instagram, because
Why is that?
because it's the algorithms are the same. They are designed to manipulate people. Probably like the one is more political motivated, perhaps a bit like TikTok. But the algorithms are designed to manipulate people to stay as long on a platform as desired. And that's actually one of the also parts of the AI Act, that algorithms must not manipulate behavior in the future, and that's all will also be quite a big topic for new next steps on this level. And when we are talking about safety, so Facebook has already showed that it's not the most trustful company in the world in regards of data security. So my opinion is definitely if you want to ban some of them, you have to ban them all, and it's about regulation that they can do business in a certain way, but only in the way we want.
The reasoning for banning TikTok is the fact that we are in an information war with China, right? And then China is using TikTok as a tool for this information war with Europe. So that's mainly, let's just say, from a security perspective, they are using that to spy on us, literally. While Temu is a way to kind of take advantage of Europeans and their love for cheap stuff and get them to buy by putting millions into advertising, right? We are like praying prey in the eyes of Temu. So we need to somehow stop such platforms from coming to our European market. Don't you think we should try to find some ways to put up walls against such platforms?
I think you can build walls of regulation, which are quite high, when you only get the content you want, and otherwise you have quite big measures. Either they have to pay really, really high fines, or you can split the companies in the end. That's also part of these new laws. So I think you have quite good measures, and that's only a start. Like it's only also to try how you can use these laws, and Europe will definitely follow up on this. And that's also like one important point on my agenda. Not only the regulation, but also because everybody is also talking about well-being, all in all. But for the young people, the digital world is part of it's a huge part of their well-being. So that's also a big motivation for me to follow up on this.
Are you on TikTok, Julius?
No, I'm not.
That's a good first.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about it for the campaign, but then I was too late, and I said, okay, then next time perhaps. But I've actually I also have Instagram and TikTok on an own phone, like on another phone, not my normal phone, and that would be only for campaigning. So yeah.
So you try to protect yourself from the prying eyes of the Chinese government.
Yeah, it's also because it's also my working phone, so I don't want to measure.
Because some of
the
rival parties are very popular on TikTok. They're getting a lot of sort of fan base on TikTok by making videos on TikTok. So I thought maybe that's a good way to get some young voters.
Sorry, which one? Which other parties?
I forgot. Was it the Liberal Alliance? Yeah.
Yeah, the king of TikTok.
But I think now when you see in entire Europe, you can see that the extreme right wings, they are using TikTok extremely good for promotion. I think left wing parties, they try to be sometimes a bit too nice, perhaps. I think we need to think about it more.
Yeah, but you also have to understand that there's a reason why far right is so connected to Chinese funding, right, and Russian funding in the end. It was also recently exposed that Russia has invested more than €1 million in Danish elections itself. So
yeah, of course, but now I'm only speaking about influence through these platforms. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm just saying that there could be something that why is the far right using TikTok so bravely, right, and they're so successful at it, and somehow doesn't algorithm have nothing to do with it?
Yeah, but also I would say it's just because it works. It works because these algorithms work quite well, like in general, without any influence of China or Russia. The algorithm technically is the best one you get probably in the market at the moment to keep people at the screens. So Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Everybody wants to copy it, like also Instagram. So.
Yeah, that's true. And we're doing this live on Instagram, just talking bad things about the platform. I mean, I see that we've done about 30 minutes and I want to start slowly wrapping up. But I want to ask you, Julius, the world has changed a lot since the last elections from 2019 to now 24. What would you say? Why is it so important to vote on these elections, especially for young voters? Why should they go out and vote?
Yeah, I think because it's all the topics we are talking about, either it's digital agenda, or it's the whole green transition, which is super broad. It's nature, it's agriculture, it's energy, it's all the topics, and also like a good basis for Europe, for perhaps for a more stable Europe, which is more flexible, taking decisions also in an international perspective. It's all topics which are super important to the young generation. Perhaps sometimes it seems that for me that like for the older generation, it's more the national politics which are important, and then for the young people, it's more the European politics which are super important for them. And that's why I think it's super important that many young people vote, especially young people, at these elections. And because we can't stop now, we see like only because some people go on the roads and demonstrate against agricultural subsidies, everything stops. Also because it's right before the election, but we can see how fragile it is. So really need to keep up, and I hope everybody votes or has already voted, and at least on Sunday.
Yeah. And most of our followers are mostly millennials between the age of 25 to 34. Why should, I mean, you have to make an elevator pitch for the Green Party. Why should they vote for your party on Sunday?
Yeah, I think because we are the party who really wants to keep this balance. Like many parties want to promote only the technical solutions. Other don't want to do anything on, for example, green transition. And I think we want to include. We take these three parts of the economic component, the ecological component, and the social component. For example, with these energy communities. And I think we need that to have the acceptance, because the best technical solution doesn't work if nobody wants it, right? So that's quite essential. And for me, we are the party who wants to promote these three parts all simultaneously, and keep pushing in the right direction. So,
great, super. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Julius. Any closing comments? Yeah, Natchez, any closing comments from you?
No, I just want to say thank you to Julius for being on Instagram Live with Last Week in Denmark. I hope that you're following our newsletter as well.
Yeah.
It's a good platform for internationally living in Denmark. So you're welcome to join it as well. Remember, to everyone that's watching, remember that we have done the Vote Home podcast, where we can listen in English to various candidates from various parties in Denmark. If you have managed to sign up to vote in Denmark, which was 3 weeks ago, so if you haven't managed, then unfortunately you cannot vote in Denmark. But if you have managed, remember to go to vote on Sunday. Today was the last day you could have letter voted, went to the library and vote. But otherwise, just go on Sunday and vote. It's a great experience to see the vibe and simply the connection between Danes and voting sections. It's an interesting experiment, and even if you just go as an observer, if you cannot vote this time, go for it. You're allowed as observer to come in and see and observe and understand what's happening out there. If you are an EU citizen that didn't sign up to vote for Danish elections, remember you can still vote for your home state elections. check out your embassy website or embassy social media and see where they have opened the voting sections. If you're a Romanian, remember we have 12 voting sections around, including one in Aalborg, where I will be present, and you can meet me on Sunday there. But otherwise, remember that we want to share your experience with everyone else. It's quite interesting to see internationals using their right to vote in Denmark, regardless if it's for the European Parliament or for the local or regional elections. So if you want to share your experience with us and how it was to vote, maybe for the first time, don't hesitate to send a video or a message to Meghna. She and her team will be present and ready there to show you what's happening in the voting sections. And Julius, before we go, do you have a prediction? Who will be the biggest party in Denmark after Sunday evening? Social Democrats or the Socialists? Who do you think? Who are you betting on?
Yeah, I think the socialists have a bit of a run at the moment. So yeah, I think they're all the greener ones of these two. So I hope the Socialist Party.
I mean, yes, of course you hope for, but it's just like who you think is gonna get, because this will be an incredible thing. I mean, it's not the first time that another party in the Social Democrats become first. Last time it was, remember the yellow maps of Denmark, which was not very beautiful to see. I'm not gonna say what that
No, I
means.
stay with the Socialist Party. I'm an optimist.
Okay, so you think pink maps all over on Sunday.
It also
That
fits
should be
super
fun.
good with a light green, like of alternative. So it's good.
Otherwise, to be honest,
Good
another
pick.
surprise could be a light blue, right? Maps. Like a Liberal Alliance taking the first spot. That's not impossible either. If the whole TikTok generation comes out and vote.
Yeah, but they don't have a good candidate, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. But thank you so much, Julius, and I'm looking forward to hear from you. If you want, maybe you want to share with us on Sunday how it is in the election party, or so we can learn a bit more of, because many internationals have never seen an election party and what that means. So if you want to share with us, feel free to come live from the
Cool.
election party and tell us
Perfect.
what's the moods out there in the alternative party.
Yeah.
Let's keep in touch.
Yeah. All right.
Great, and thanks for having me. It was great.
Thank you so much, Julius, and all the best for Sunday. And thank you for taking the questions and giving your time. Have a good night, and thank you everyone who saw us. It's bye.